Roxanne said just a few minutes ago that coaches like to go to Kansas City. You're talking about all NFL coaches?
This is my data based upon interviews I did
based
years
on what?
ago.
Where are you getting this information?
Yes, years ago when I was a sports reporter. It feels like a lifetime ago.
Was that your Bay News 9 days?
Bay News 9 days.
Right.
And I would say, hey, where's your favorite road trip to go on?
Hold on. Why are you talking?
Hi, everybody.
Why are you talking like this?
All right. Thanks, Rock Riley. I'm here on the scene with the assistant coaches of the Buccaneers. This is Roxanne Wilder.
That was one of your
Hey, Mike Tomlin, where do you like to go on a road trip?
All right, stop talking like that.
All right, so
that was one of your icebreaker questions?
You know, the gist of what's your favorite road trip? Okay, what's your favorite color?
Was that a
No,
that a
what's
crutch
your favorite
question?
color? No, at one point or another.
What's your favorite pasta shape?
I mean, that has to be a crutch question after you've asked them everything in 30 seconds. So, what do you think of the Titans' defense?
Yeah.
Oh, they're really good.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite team to travel to?
Exactly. What's your favorite city to travel to?
Right,
There
so
you go.
you make the claim that coaches and what? Give me an example. What coaches in the NFL did you interview?
Kirby Wilson,
Kirby Wilson.
running backs coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right.
Thank you for clarifying that. 'cause
Mike Tomlin, now
Never heard of him.
Former safeties coach for the Bucs or defensive backs coach for the Bucs. Now Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Monty Kiffin,
Right.
and they all seem to like that barbecue in Kansas City.
Right. So they like going to. So you're saying that some Bucks coaches,
Yeah.
you have no idea about Eagles coaches or Giants coaches.
It's a very small
or
sample size, guys.
Cleveland Browns coaches. All right,
But what city would suck to go to? I mean, I'm trying to think. Is Jacksonville the least desirable location to travel to?
I'm thinking Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Green Bay, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
maybe some brats up there.
Maybe.
Some frozen custard, right?
I mean, you get to spend the weekend in Chicago. That sounds awesome. Weekend
All
in
right.
Kansas City.
All right, so Fester,
Yeah.
you made a comment about various barbecue. So did I.
Sure.
Based on what Roxanne said. So, can you explain? There is something called Kansas City barbecue. There's Memphis BBQ, Texas barbecue. I have an affection for Carolina barbecue. Can you go through all of the famous namesakes for barbecue and tell us the difference, delineate?
All right. It's not as complicated as you're making it out
All
to be. There's only 4 kinds of barbecue that are recognized.
And they are?
Carolina, Kansas City, Texas, and Memphis.
So I named them all.
Yeah.
So
those are
I
the
actually,
4.
I know my barbecues. And I've had all of them along the way in certain capacities.
They're all great.
All right. So start with, since the Bucks are going to be at Kansas City tonight on Monday Night Football, start with Kansas City barbecue. Describe.
So Kansas City is a slow smoked rib or burnt end off of a brisket.
All right. We're talking beef?
Yeah, beef brisket.
All right. So,
Beef
but
brisket.
do they do beef ribs in Kansas City or pork ribs or both?
Okay, so all ribs are pork ribs.
But I've had beef ribs
They make
before.
them. They make them.
Yeah.
But they don't identify any particular kind of
Gotcha.
barbecue.
All right.
Maybe with the exception of possibly Texas, which we'll get to in a second.
All right.
Everybody.
So Kansas City slow
smoked with a tangy sauce. A smoky sauce in Kansas City. Their 2 big dishes are the ribs or the burnt ends. The burnt ends are just the outer portion of the roast.
Okay.
That's chopped up and it's like little cubes of meat.
Right.
And it's fantastic. The legendary place in Kansas City is Arthur Bryant's.
Arthur
Barbecue.
Bryant's.
If you go to Kansas City and you want to hit the legendary restaurant, Arthur Bryant's is the place. Now, Arthur Bryant's, he's long dead and it's owned by
Now Anita, his sister, runs it.
I think
Anita Bryant.
I think they sold it to a couple of white guys, but they are running it with all of the old traditions. And
Was Arthur Bryant a black guy?
Oh yeah, he was an old Kansas City. He's an old black guy who made Kansas City.
So
barbecue
now a bunch of white guys run it.
yeah.
All right.
So
So as long as they know how to do it and do the recipes right.
and they kept all the recipes the
Okay.
same.
All right.
So that's Kansas City.
Kansas City.
And she's right, by the way.
What?
Unitard, our former intern,
Yeah.
who now works for Buccaneers Radio Network, he's traveling to Kansas City. Sends me a message on Friday. Where should I go to eat?
Unitard sent you
Yes.
really?
I sent him a list of like 3 or 4 places. He looked them up, and he goes, Kansas. He goes, Arthur Bryant's is a mile and a half from my hotel.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, go
That's it.
there.
Go
That's it.
there.
Go
Yeah.
there.
Gotcha.
But it's a thick,
All right,
unique,
so-
sometimes peppery sauce.
For those that study MJ Morning Show history, Unitard was the intern that said he could beat me in a race, and I raced unitard. I was like twice his age even back then, and maybe not twice his age.
Yeah, you were 40, he was 20?
Yeah,
That might be right.
Yeah, maybe I was twice his age, and I beat the intern in a running race in the parking lot. I mean, smoked him.
I'm really embarrassed him.
I smoked him like a Kansas City burnt end. All right. All right. So, not to be confused with the Kansas City tight end. All right. So that's Kansas City.
Yes.
Memphis barbecue.
Memphis is primarily a Memphis-style rib, which is a St. Louis cut, which is all the cartilagey part taken off.
Right.
You ever see an uncut rib and it's like really long and has like a flappy end on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kansas City, St. Louis style cut is when it's a
Wait a
rectangle.
second. So now there's St. Louis.
Wait, what are we doing?
Okay,
Hold on.
No,
Yeah.
not St. Louis style barbecue.
Yeah.
St. Louis cut on ribs. It makes the ribs square.
So the St. Louis cut on the ribs is what you get in Memphis?
Yes, because it's right down the river.
Okay.
It's right down the river.
Right down the river.
The big muddy
it-
just.
What's the sauce like?
Do any of the pit masters live in a van down by the river?
You know what? There's a lot of people living in vans
But
down
then,
by that river.
Roxanne, I was about to ask about the sauces. Roxanne beat me to the punch. Who does the mustard-based sauce?
I'm glad you asked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that?
That's a South Carolina sauce. South Carolina
That's
does
South
the
Carolina.
See, I don't like that. That's a Western Carolina.
No.
I like the Eastern Carolina,
okay,
right?
so
I like the watery, vinegary sauce. All right, hold on. All right, so that's
This is good stuff.
All right, that's Memphis.
Memphis is ribs primarily with a thick red sauce.
Okay.
Thick red sauce.
And then,
Okay.
And then what about the Kansas City sauce?
It's another thick red sauce, but it's
Smoky.
It's more peppery.
More
or
peppery.
More, spicy.
All right.
I
And
like
then
a tangy
the
sauce. Where would I
tangy
go?
sauce, the tangy. Remember, T is for Texas. Texas has the tangy
All right,
sauce.
so
Okay.
let's do Texas now.
Texas
barbecue.
is beef centric, where they specialize in their brisket.
Ah.
And that's where you would find beef ribs. But primarily, when you say Texas barbecue, you're thinking brisket right out of the gate because it's slow and smoked over oak
Okay.
or
So not as
tree
much
nut.
pork in Texas, more beef in Texas barbecue?
Yes.
All right. And what is the famous Texas barbecue place where they line up like for 18 blocks?
Franklin's barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they run out, they run out.
Yep.
And Julian and Michelle went on a road trip when Julian was considering all the film schools that he wanted to visit. Is that in Austin? Where's that? Where's Franklin Barbecue? In Austin.
Yeah, it is
All right.
Austin.
So University of Texas Austin has a good film school. And Michelle and Julian, they flew to Austin. They flew West Coast. They went everywhere. All the top 10, 15 film schools in the country. Julian visited with Michelle, and they went to Austin, and they wanted to try Franklin Barbecue, but the day they were there, they were closed. So bring up their hours.
They must have been there on a Monday.
Monday, yeah,
Because they're closed today.
It was. So they were closed. They were there on a Monday to visit the University of Texas Austin Film School, and it was Monday, and it was closed, so they couldn't go to Franklin Barbecue.
But it's only a lunch place. It's open 11 to 3, and when they run out, they run out. You're right. All right.
So then we got Kansas City, Memphis. We just did Texas. Now Carolina. I know, Carolina. Listen, Michelle and I love a chopped pork sandwich with the Carolina vinegar sauce, which is more of an Eastern Carolina sauce.
Right. So that's the vinegar sauce. Carolina barbecue primarily is chopped pork shoulder.
Yeah.
That's the main dish there. With the really loose vinegar sauce, which is the Eastern Carolina sauce. I think the Western side
It's a thicker sauce.
puts a squirt of ketchup in it.
Yeah. I think
Still
you're right.
vinegary,
Yeah.
but they put a little ketchup so it's more red.
It's a thicker sauce. The Eastern Carolina, the thin vinegar sauce, it's very watery because it's very vinegar based, and then there's all kinds of spices all jammed in there.
Right.
And it's fantastic.
My first wedding, I was marrying a North Carolina boy, and his family for the rehearsal dinner, we were going to have a pig picking.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what a pig picking was, but that's a North Carolina barbecue
Yeah.
thing.
So North Carolina ain't afraid to put a pig in the ground.
And then the redo for the pig jig locally was yesterday.
Was it?
Yeah, and Chloe went with Chet, but I don't think they got a chance to get any food. It was kind of a weird year because they had to postpone it because of the hurricanes back in late September and October. So there we have it, folks.
Well, then there's Alabama barbecue sauce, which is a white sauce that
Right.
goes primarily on chicken.
Oh, that's right.
And then South Carolina sauce, which
Yeah.
is a mustard-based sauce that we were talking about a couple seconds ago.
Thanks for watching the video. Hope you liked it. Go ahead and click, share, subscribe, all this stuff.